So let's take a look at your last set of essays as part of this set. Let's see what you did. First up is the map. The two maps show an island before and after construction. The island stretches from southwest to northeast of the sea. There is a beach to the west coast of the island. Before construction, there are only trees dotted around the middle, northwest and northeast of the island. After construction, there are a lot of infrastructures that make the island habitable and turns the island into a tourist attraction. All right. There's a little problem with the organization of your ideas. Basically, what you've done is you've taken your introduction and details and you put them all into one paragraph. That's not the appropriate organization for a task one. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to have the introduction, okay? And then you can have the overview in the same paragraph, or you can make it its own paragraph either directly after the introduction or at the end of the task. Personally, I like it right after the introduction. Okay, but like I said, that's a personal choice. But by no means should your introduction and your details be attached. So, the two maps show an island before and after construction. Okay, which is brief. It's a brief introduction. So my instinct is directly after that to come up with an overview. I don't see an overview anywhere. And so, of course, that's going to cost you some band scores. Without an overview, you will not get a 6. Okay, so the best you can get is a 5 for task achievement without an overview. So what could an overview for this? Well, this could be an overview. But that means that you have to get rid of all of this because it's inappropriately organized. So what am I suggesting? I'm suggesting keep your introduction and then, so it would read like this. The two maps show an island before and after construction. After construction, there is a lot of infrastructure that makes the island inhabitable and turns the island into a tourist attraction. That would have been okay. So yeah, I guess you could say that this is your overview, but do you see what happened? It got so lost within all of the information and all of this detail that it wasn't easily discernible. And you definitely don't want that to happen because the examiner does not have time to go into a lot of searching for an overview. So you really want to make it absolutely clear where it is and what it is. So that's what I would have done. I would have had this, and then you could have left it even in the same paragraph, and then have this sentence. Now, another good way to make sure that your overview is absolutely clear and that there's no kind of confusion as to what is your overview, you can start off with the word overall or clearly. These are some key words, or like signposts really, that show the examiner, okay, this is what I mean to be my overview. And that's a good habit to get into, okay? So once again, introduction, have a good kind of key word here to introduce your overview. It could be overall, it could be clearly, and then you go ahead. And then you can move on to the details. Let's see what you said. The most noticeable changes are 3 tall buildings in the middle, plenty of accommodations around the two, and plenty of accommodation, singular, around the two sides of the tall buildings. On the right side of the tall buildings, each accommodation is connected by a path leading to a circular vehicle track. On the left side, there are 6 accommodations with a footpath passing across in the middle. Passing across in the middle. All right, it's a little awkward. So there are 6 accommodations with a footpath, the left side. Passing through them, I guess you could say. From the beach to the center of the island. That would have been a good way to say that. Okay, in the middle of the island, the roads are much more than its 2 sides area. I don't understand what that means. A vehicle track circles around the biggest buildings in the middle of the island and connects two buildings located in the north and south of the island. Don't entirely understand that. By the way, just to let you know, it's a hotel, it's a mall, and it's a restaurant. I can't really say that this description was particularly clear. What does that mean? The roads are much more than its two-side areas. I think I know what you're trying to say, but that was a little bit awkward. So maybe something different, like in the middle of the island, there are more roadways to facilitate transportation. Okay, and then that's fine. Then there is a lake inside the island along the east coast. A pier has been built on the south of the island, allowing boat access, so no S here, to the island. Some trees have been cut down due to the constructions, with only a few trees in the northeast left. All right, so that's fine. I have one concern here. I mean, you definitely covered everything. You didn't tell us the measurement, and that would have been nice, but it's not really super important. It's nice to mention it though, because it's there, and so they clearly would like you to mention it. So maybe a highly developed answer would take this into account. But one thing that I want to talk about is the fact that you didn't really talk about this island at all. I mean, you just mentioned it really briefly. You said that it was an island before and after construction. Ah, okay, that's where you mentioned it. You mentioned it in that section that we took out. So let's see. Maybe you could have taken this, okay, and then, okay, so as we said earlier, I would have kept the introduction and then the overview, and then I would have had a little paragraph just for this. But again, you need to really give a good signpost. So prior to any construction, the island stretched from the southeast to the northeast of the sea. Okay, and so then you could have started off this paragraph. So it's not really that you were missing anything in terms of task achievement. I think you did actually a very good job in terms of task achievement. You mentioned everything, and you mentioned everything that was important for sure, no question. My issue then is clearly with the organization of your ideas, all right? So just to kind of reiterate, introduction and then overview, and then the before would have been its own paragraph, and then you could have gone into details about the other information on the island after that. All right, so it's a good attempt, a lot of good things for sure, just you need to work on the organization of your ideas a little more, okay? Let's take a look now at your task 2 about green energy. Okay, increasing air pollution caused by greenhouse gas emissions from fossil fuels makes more countries notice the importance of green energy. Green energy does not harm the environment, and it reduces costs because it is naturally replenished with renewable sources. Despite its advantages, using green energy is still disputed. Some experts argue that not every country has adequate natural, AL, sources to generate green energy. The supply, all right. You ran into a grammatical problem here. Okay, so despite its advantages, using green energy is still disputed. Some experts argue that not every country has adequate natural resources to generate green energy. Therefore, the supply might not be sufficient. You don't need to keep saying green energy. You could just use some ellipsis here and just say the supply might not be sufficient. In this essay, we'll discuss the 2 different views and give my reasons, plural, it's not just one reason, why I support green energy. Okay, this is fine. It's not bad at all. It's actually good, but I do think you could have condensed it a little bit. Remember that your introduction has some very specific roles to play, okay? It does some very specific things. So once you do those things, you really just need to get on with the essay and actually work on developing your body paragraphs. You see, you need to obviously present your position, which you did, and you need to essentially rephrase the task. Here, I think you probably wrote more than you needed to. So I would have condensed really all of this, reducing it maybe by like half, okay? Just to something a lot briefer, like let's see, increasing air pollution caused by greenhouse gas emissions from fossil fuels makes countries notice the importance of green energy. While it has some clear positive effects on the environment and the economy, some countries are concerned that it may not be able to fulfill the demand for energy. In this essay, I will discuss these views and give my reasons why I support green energy. Okay, so that's one way you could have done it. I really just took this and reduced it, condensed it down. All right, let's move on. First, renewable energy is environmentally friendly. It is generated from natural sources such as hydropower, wind power, and solar energy. Unlike traditional AL energy, green energy is clean and does not release greenhouse gas emissions. Well, it does not release greenhouse gases generated by fossil fuel. Regarding the more serious climate change nowadays, green energy helps slow down the deterioration of air pollution. Well, that's not quite right. Green energy helps slow down air pollution. Okay? Second, green energy is sustainable. It does not compress the need of the future demand. I don't think compress is the right word here. It does not, let's see, maybe it does not hamper, it does not limit. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what you're trying to say, actually. The need for future demand because the energy source is given by nature. As long as we protect our earth well, we will have an endless supply. Third, the cost of green energy is much lower. According to the recent research from the University of Cambridge, the average producing cost of clean energy is about 30% lower than that of traditional energy. Due to these benefits, many countries' energy supplies tend to count on green energy. Okay, so let's see. You said it was environmentally friendly. You gave us one part about that, and then you told us it was sustainable. And then you talked about cost. Okay, so fine. You covered everything. Let's take a look at this paragraph. Although the advantages are distinct, there are some drawbacks to clean energy. One of the biggest issues is energy security. Nice and clear, good. Some countries are covered with poor natural source power. In a report released by the Luxembourg government, Luxembourg has very low wind power sources with only about 1% of its energy powered by wind. Get rid of the is. Moreover, it is hard for green energy to satisfy the energy need in the transport industry. A recent survey of the New York Times concluded that many electric car drivers complained about the inconvenience of finding charge stations. Okay, I understand. Okay, fine. In my opinion, green energy is, this isn't, I think, the right word here. I think you want to say something else. Is maybe positive, it is maybe beneficial, it is promising, perhaps, in protecting the environment. Nevertheless, the technology and infrastructure needed to improve. Nevertheless, the technology and infrastructure. Okay, technology and infrastructure are needed. There we go. So get rid of the and just say technology and infrastructure are needed to improve and increase the potential production of green energy. Okay, so this is good. Just some little things here and there. Nothing very, very serious. I thought you did a nice job overall. So just keep in mind what I told you about the introduction. I don't know how long this took you. That would be something I'd like you to answer us if you could, because I do see here that it's around 353 words. So did this take you 40 minutes? Because remember, you do only have 40 minutes to write this, assuming that you need 20 minutes to write your task one. But nevertheless, you have an hour to write both tasks. So my curiosity now is regarding how long this particular task took you to write. You've come to the end of the essay package. So now the question is, what's next, essentially. I would like to encourage you to sign up for some more essay corrections with us so that we can help you progress. We can continue with feedback and helping you improve so you can do well in your exam. There'll be a link in the email accompanying this video on how to continue working with us. So I hope that we can continue with our essays together. I look forward to it. So lots of luck to you.